Hi guys, welcome to episode 2 of the podcast. Now, today's a little bit different because previously, we've got all the guests lined up, but some of you know who I am in depth. You've been following me for a while. Some of you may have only just heard of me. I've done the podcast with Alex Viada. You may know I'm a coach for Complete Human Performance, which we didn't actually mention in the podcast, but yep. I'm a coach for Complete Human Performance and got my Body Catchers business as well. So here's a little bit of background about me, and this could go one way or another. It could be long, it could be short, but I'm just going to go with the flow, and you either like it or not. But coming up next week, we're going to be recording with Steve Tripp. We've got Alex Ferrentinos coming on the show, Stephen H coming on the show, Wild Performance coming on the show. So they're going to be some of the next podcasts coming along. So I apologise for not actually getting the show with a guest this week. However, life sometimes happens, and yeah, so we've had some issues with illness, with different calls coming along. So yeah, so I'm Ollie Matthews. I'm 28 years old, 29 next Thursday, if you want to buy me a present, that is. And yeah, I've been on my journey, and I've still got a hell of a long way to go. Don't get me wrong, I'm nowhere near there yet. And I've been on my journey for about 10 years, I would say, in fitness. My whole life, as I say, has been a journey. Now, what we've got, I started out, if we look really back, I was getting bullied in school. I was obese. I was just getting bullied, and I didn't like it. So, no one's going to like being bullied. And what happened from there? It was bullied for being fat, really, not more than anything else, and it hurt. When I was 15, my dad died of a stroke, which obviously that had a massive impact on my life as well. Went into hospital with a migraine, and that's one of the things which has made me get so passionate about nutrition, how we can help the inner, how we can help inside out to actually develop and to be healthy. Because we may seem like we're healthy, but there's always underlying issues going on. Now, I'd lost about, straight away, when I got into training around sort of 21 years old, 20 years old, I couldn't even run to the end of my driveway. Then I started going a little bit further and further and further, walking and running, and I'd probably call it waddling now. So yeah, I started going a little bit further and further, and eventually done a few 5Ks. I think it's nothing impressive, but it was 20 minutes, 23 seconds. Reason I remember the 23 is because I'm a massive Michael Jordan fan, as you've probably seen in a hell of a lot of videos. I think right now is the only time I'm not wearing any Jordan stuff. That's something I said to my fiance the other day, that it sounds really vain, but I never used to be able to afford Jordan stuff before, and now I live in Jordan stuff. And that's something I love, and it makes me feel good. So not for what other people think, just to show how far I've come. But anyway, so I ran my 5Ks, got into bodybuilding, done a bodybuilding show, my first one as a junior and British Natural Bodybuilding Federation in 2008, came second in the Southern. Then in that actual prep, in 12 weeks, I lost over 3 stone. So basically at the start, I was nearly 18 stone, went down to about 10.5 stone when I jumped on stage. In that 12 weeks was when I lost the final 3 stone. That was hard, very hard. Over dieted, hormones got screwed up. As you probably know, when you over diet, you don't sleep, your mind starts playing games. It's not healthy. And that was something which, again, I wanted to look deeper into it. Did I develop intolerances then? Who knows? I was going through a hell of a lot of stress. However, moved on. It took about 3-4 months for my body to kickstart again. Then I had, from 2008, I competed again in 2010, and that was in the classic class and again in the BMBF, and I'd improved. I was 25 I think it is then, and yeah, I'd improved a hell of a lot. Didn't do any damage. I was on stage with people, that was when I first became mates with Jamie Alderton, who's done a massive, done done massive things in the fitness industry with Grenade J. A lot of respect for him. Maybe be able to get him on the podcast in the future as well. If you guys would like that, just let me know and I'll drop him a message. Yeah, so competed again then. At that time, I was realising that I wasn't then able to make a living in the fitness industry. I was working at a Sporter as a personal trainer, and I was working from God knows how early to God knows how late, having to do my personal training sessions off shift whilst working a 40-odd hour contract, doing 2 or 3 classes, and this is something I see in the fitness industry all the time. How the hell can we recover? You're doing stupid amounts of classes, spins classes, circuit training classes, sprint classes, whatever classes, and then you're doing your own training, you're trying to eat, your body is just getting screwed. Hormonally, you're constantly fighting jet lag because you're doing lates and earlies, and this is something which wasn't good. So I'd worked at Aviva when I was in music college, when I was like 17, 18 years old, swore to myself I wouldn't go back to that. But yeah, found myself back at Aviva in a call centre, and thought, yeah, I'm going to make a bit of a crack at it. I wouldn't work after 8 o'clock, I wouldn't start before 8 o'clock. That was a lie-in for me then, starting at 8 o'clock, when you used to starting at, what, 5:30? And yeah, so worked at Aviva, worked my way up, really good in the call centre, one of the top sellers in there, worked towards a manager, and got my first management secondment in 2011. 2012 I competed again. That's the last time I competed. Again, improved. Did I do any damage on stage? No. Maybe to the dark bit in the side, but shit happens. I'd improved in my journey, okay? And that is something which I've got to get across. You're all individuals, and how you improve each time, you can't do nothing to anyone else. So as long as you improve each day, as long as your journey is going forwards, then that's what matters. And that's something I'm a massive believer on. Screw what everyone else is doing. What people say. I mean, I say to a lot of people, it's like, look, what you eat doesn't make me shit. So that is true. So we are all here on our own individual journeys. What works for me may not work for you. What works for me may not work for my clients. Hence why that is why I have individual tailored nutrition, which I do for my clients. And I'm a big believer that the cookie cutter diets don't work. You might get some flukes where the genetics are ready to diet, but they don't necessarily work. So what actually happened after that 2012 show was probably the biggest hit on my life so far. And this is the highest levels of stress I think I've mentioned in some of my videos. And we'll see who we can get on the podcast to help us talk about stress. And what actually happened was I lost my management secondment. I got told a week before I was going to get made permanent, practically. And then I went to see my coach about a month after the show. So if you imagine, like, competed in May, then the body is absolutely screwed over, needs a lot of time to recover. What happens then? Hit it with higher stress. I was ready to move out again. Then I was ready to get a massive, like, just go on with my life, and had great plans. And then suddenly you get a massive kick in the balls, a phone call saying there's budget cuts in a massive corporate corporation, a company. We're gonna basically send you backwards. You're gonna take a $3 pay cut and back to square one. Now, because you've not been on the phones for a year, we're gonna make you work your way up again. So, yep, that happened. Shit happens in life. We have to go backwards sometimes to go forwards. And if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am now. So I worked my way up again. Still smashing it in the gym, still learning more and more, and all the while slowly building up my reputation and building up my client base on body catchers. And then I got another management secondment. So that was actually in another department, and I was like, great, lightning's not going to strike twice, and I can really make a go of it this time. Then what happens? They send the department to India. So yeah, like, I was back at square one again. I was having to go backwards. I'd just got that pay cut, that pay rise, and then I got another pay cut. So all this time I'm developing my knowledge. I'm helping more clients. I'm getting more and more passion for endurance athletes. I'm getting more and more passion for strength athletes. My own training, yeah, it's nice, but I'm finding I get more pleasure out of helping others doing it. And yeah, as long as I'm progressing mentally and physically, then that's what matters. At the moment, I've got no interest in stepping on stage. Um, that could change. It could change tomorrow. It could change today. It could change in an hour. Now, all I believe is right here in the present moment, I am who I am. Now, that is what I want to get towards my clients. And I developed this passion towards helping more people. So, what happened? This was like the biggest low. About a week or two before I was due to go backwards into my old job, I was getting anxiety, panic attacks, anxiety attacks. I was really in a low state. I was depressed. And it was around that time that I was training with a guy called John Chapman, part of the Lean Machines. I was training with him daily. And I heard about Wild Performance, Cliff and Marta, and Steve Aish, and we'd all arranged to go and do some stuff previously. But yeah, with this big kick right now, didn't have the money. Now, John and Leon, they let me go to a seminar with Cliff and Marta. They didn't charge me for the petrol. I'm forever thankful for them, and I've asked to pay them back, and I've actually paid some money to charity with Cliff and Marta that gave me a free ticket to the seminar. And that was supposed to be £50. Right now, I've paid £50, and that was to the Stroke Association for charity in order to pay them back. They didn't want the money, they wanted me to help someone else. So that meant a lot to me. They let me get the seminar free, and that changed my life. I met Steve Aish right at that moment. I wasn't in a position ready to be coached and mentored by him with my mindset. Right now, he is one of the massive influences on my life that I have. And yeah, so this could go on forever going on about it. But I had like a month or two off sick with depression and anxiety attacks. All that time as well, I was looking at helping more people. And I suppose I was hiding that sort of thing. So, but if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be able to give people the advice that I've got now. I've been through that. I've been through the psychological stages of like, I've lost all this weight, and what I see is, this is probably a little bit of a different subject, but my confidence was not there. I'd done all these shows, and I'd see that people would be like, "Oh, are you in the off season now? Are you cutting? Are you bulking?" I hate those two words. Bulking, cutting, bulking, cutting. Now, if you could be happy and be comfortable in yourself, and the biggest thing is that I wasn't comfortable in myself. I wasn't ready to be me. And I'd always think that people would expect me to have abs year round, which I suppose some people will do. I've been through a hell of a lot of stress. Now, my hormones were screwed all over the place from being at this stress. I had chronically low DHEA. Cortisol was fine actually when I had the test with Alex Manos, and that was something that surprised me. But that was like, I believe it was stage 2 he said about, with like adrenal fatigue, and yeah, so that's another story. But yeah, I'd be worried about, and I lost all the weight, I lost the fat, but that led to other problems. It led me being even more insecure because I'd want to be in that shape all year round. It led me to missing social events because I wanted to be in shape, and I couldn't weigh the food out at a local or whatever it was, going to Nando's and shit like that. So I'd be living out on my Tupperware. I wouldn't go to the cinema. I'd miss family events. I'd become a recluse purely because fitness had taken over my life, which isn't healthy. And this didn't help when I got knocked back by Aviva. But now I learned that it's like about that 80%, 20% of like the 80-20 rule. If you go 100% at all of that thing, then who are you? I try and preach to my clients that, I say preach is a strong word, I'm not really like a lover of that word, but I say to my clients, look, we've got different levels of different types of things which make up the overall health. We've got fitness, we've got social, we've got our physical, we've got our mental, there's business health. There's so many different things that come in to make this one thing. And if we can get that balance, which is one of the hardest things to do, if you're healthy in your business, you're healthy in your family, you're healthy in your relationships, you're healthy in yourself, in your fitness, then all those things work together to make an overall picture. But I wasn't. Now, I had junk outs. I would binge out crazily, really crazily binge out. Why? Because during the week, I had restricted my diet so much that it was like, oh, here comes Saturday, let's have 2 or 3 tubs of Ben and Jerry's as a starter, then have a massive ass Chinese, then have whatever else as a dessert, and finish it off with a little bit more Ben and Jerry's and stuff like that. And it seemed like a massive picture, and I post it all on social media. So that was obviously good for my clients. Look, Ollie's in this sort of shape, but he's eating this shit. Is that good? Not at all. So it gives the wrong impression to people. And I don't like that about the industry now. So many people posting different things on different Tupperware things and scaring people off, and you'll very rarely see me put too many before and after pictures unless a client has told me, like, please can you put this on here, I'm very proud of where I am. Why? Because I'd rather a client feel good and tell their friends they feel good, get recommendations and referrals from people feeling good. And what happens with before and after pictures? Some people don't want them on there. If I come and train with Ollie and Ollie has put loads of before and after pictures on, is that going to then mean that my pictures in my underwear are going to be all over Facebook in front of thousands of people, in front of 40,000 on Twitter? No. Let's not go for that route. Let's just be human. Let's just focus on one client at a time. I really don't know where I'm going with this, but I just wanted to give you a bit of a background as to where I've been, and I've not been in a healthy place. And it's okay not to be perfect. This is something I've learned recently, and it's okay because you are you. You are who you are right there and then. If you can find the moment of where you are, here and now, you'll be able to take out a hell of a lot of shit out of your mind, take out the trash. And there was a film called The Peaceful Warrior, Why Are You Doing Things? And a guy who's a gymnast, I'm not going to go into it, but I highly recommend it. Steve Ash recommended it to me. It's actually become one of my favourite films. Kind of hard to beat any of the Supermans, apart from Superman Returns. That really didn't do it for me. Superman's and Batman's and Peaceful Warrior, favourite films. Now, when we look at why we do things, dieting for a holiday, let's use that as an example. I went to Egypt last year. Now, people seem to diet for a holiday. It's great to be in shape. But why are you dieting for the holiday? Why are you having that holiday at the end of the day? To relax, yeah? So if you do a really, really strict diet to screw your hormones over, it's going to take more than a week or two to then get them better and to actually be able to relax. That's just looking at it really on a deeper level. However, if you also look at, we're going to do it to impress others. Yeah, you'll feel good in yourself, but we're looking at impressing others by the pool. Do those people actually give you a shit who you are? Do they know your name? Now, I was the same when I went to Egypt. I was worried because, hang on, people are going to judge me. They don't know who Ollie Matthews is. They don't know I'm a nutritionist. They don't know I'm a coach. They don't know what I do. So why are they going to judge me? And yeah, you're still probably in shape of 90% of the people around there. In better shape. Okay, so are you doing it for the people around there? Or a massive thing which has come on now, which is a positive, but a massive negative. Social media. Now, we see these pictures come up as like, hang on, I need to put another picture up. I need to put another picture up. And I need to feel good because someone else can see it. And oh, I've just put this picture up. But that then leads us to wanting to look good 100% of the time. Now, we then diet for 12 weeks to screw ourselves over to look good for 1 or 2 days on our holiday to impress people by the pool that don't know our name or don't know our jobs, who probably don't really even care about that. They might look at you and say, yeah, he's in alright shape, and then they'll get back to eating their ice creams, their all-you-can-eat buffets, their pina colada and all their cocktails and stuff, and then you take pictures because you're worried, and then you put it on Facebook. Imagine if you didn't have to put it on Facebook. If you are happy doing what you are doing and nobody else in the world knows what you're doing, ask yourself that. So, we've got insecurities. I've got insecurities. Now, and I wasn't happy. I had to tell everyone about it before. And I was running the marathons. Why was I running the marathons? Okay, well, I come from a big endurance background with families, and my sister, I believe it was last year, she won the Cambridge Half Marathon. She does really well with her running. And I wanted to fit in. Was I going to fit in doing the complete opposite end of the spectrum, bodybuilding, strength, and all that sort of stuff? Okay, I love doing endurance work. I love training clients with it. I love weightlifting. But was I built like a marathon runner to go from 2 miles to 2 marathons in a month, and go from 2 miles to 10 miles in 2 months, to in December to April to do the London Marathon, to do Edinburgh? Obviously not, because my Achilles got injured. But why was I doing 2 marathons in a month? When you look at it, it was sibling rivalry. And that sibling rivalry was a case of, yeah, I'm doing this because I can't beat my sister's time. So I'll do 2 in a month, which she wouldn't even bother doing because it takes a hell of a lot out of the body. So yeah, if we look back at why we're doing things, just ask yourself why you're doing it. I recommend looking at the Peaceful Warrior. Now, I've gone on a bit of a tangent here, and I apologise if I've bored the shit out of you. If you've actually got to the end of these 20 odd minutes and you're appreciative, drop us a link, drop us a message. I'm at Body Power at the weekend. I'll be on the men's fitness stand, and so come and say hi to me. I'll see if I can get you some samples from Protein Dynamics. I've also got a 20% discount code for anyone on the podcast. For anyone that likes it, that comments and things like that, I'll drop you a personal message to say what the 20% off Protein Dynamics supplements are. But yeah, thank you for listening. We'll get the guests up next week. We'll start off with the full podcasts. But yeah, this is episode 2. Thank you. Bye-bye.